This is the plaintiff, Anthony Savinelli. He says he was hired to dig a water well on the defendant's property. He charges $9.50 per foot to drill and dug a beautiful well, 375 feet deep for the defendants. But there was no water. He went down another 75 feet, still no water. Next thing he knows, the defendants are accusing him of drilling in the wrong spot, are refusing to pay him for his services, and that's why he's here, seeking the $4,362.50 he's owed. These are the defendants, Brian and Gwen. Brian says he hired a dozer to find water on his property, marked the area with a stake, and when the plaintiff came to drill, he missed the spot by a good 5 feet. The plaintiff didn't drill on his property in the right place, didn't find water for his well, and he's not paying him a penny until he does. They're accused of being high and dry when it comes to payment time.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Savinelli Well Drilling Company, represented here by Anthony Savinelli. You're the owner. You are suing Brian and Gwen. You've asked not to use your last names. We'll respect that, for $4,362.50 that you say they owe you for drilling a well on their property that did not hit water. But you say that's no fault of yours. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, I met with Gwen on her property, and they already have 2 wells there that are not functioning.
Because they dried up?
They're dry. They're not working well. They actually have to hire, I guess, a tanker to fill them up occasionally so they have water for their house. So sometimes people use a dozer to locate water on their, well, a likely spot to get water on their property.
What's a dozer?
A dozer is someone that walks around with a cherry stick, brass rods, they walk across the ground, and they'll move, and supposedly where they move and they pull hard is where the water vein is.
What moves? The rods?
The rods do, yeah.
Okay.
All right? And
Hold on one second. Tell me about this process, because this isn't very traditional, right? This is kind of, I mean, it's age-old, but it's, did more scientific techniques not work for you?
Well, we've had a dowser in the past that found water for one of our wells. So we were trying to dig a third well.
So how does this dowser do what they're doing?
So she walked across my yard with her sticks. And when
A stick in each hand?
Yep. And it's kind of like an L form. And when she walks across the property, when she comes across the water, the sticks cross.
By their own accord?
Yes.
Why do they do that? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's talk about, well, the bottom line is you dug, there's no water, they won't pay you. That's why you're here in court today.
Correct.
But what I want to do is I want to start kind of with them to figure out how we got to that point. So what I'd like to talk about is, okay, the dowser comes, and then how does she mark it?
So she marked it with long wooden sticks with orange dye on the top, and one of them had like a blue tape.
Okay.
And she stuck it in the ground in the 2 spots.
2 spots that were either one would work?
Either one would work. They were probably about 10 to 15 feet apart from each other.
Okay, did you ever take pictures of where the stakes were before anybody touched them?
We took a picture of one of the stakes because one of the stakes was moved, but there was the original stake that was in the ground. And the stakes were along a vein, so anywhere, like I thought this was hocus pocus. I went down there with 2 coat hangers, and they crossed in front of me. So I thought it was going to be like Ouija board, where somebody's pushing it all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of Ouija to me too, but wait, no, tell me about the hangers.
So they actually crossed right above the stick. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy, right? And then I go over where the other stick is. This is before he even came, right? And I put it over there. And then you walk along that whole line along it, and they cross. But if you step over here 2 feet, nothing. They go right back out. You step over this way 2 feet, they go right back out. Once you get back on that line, they cross. But when you get over there were 2 spots that the dowser liked the best. One, when the sticks would cross, they'd go very quickly across. The other one, they went a little slower.
So then you hire him and you tell him which one you want him to dig in.
Yeah, we wanted to do on that stake.
The stake that was
the one that we thought was the better of the 2 that she recommended.
But at some point he moved the one important stake.
Yes.
Right. Why did you move the stake?
I didn't move the stake, Your Honor.
Oh, you say in your answer to the complaint that you moved the stake. What are you talking about?
I had to move the stake.
That's fine. You can tell me why you had to move the stake, but you moved the stake, right?
Okay.
I didn't make it up. You don't have to get offended. Now, tell me why you moved the stake.
I removed the stake so I could build a platform for the drilling equipment.
Why are you removing a stake to build a platform? Why
Because
do
the
you
thing
need to
was,
remove-
in order to work, basically, Your Honor, if we had started the job where he had put his stake, I would be where the ground dropped off, we would be standing like a 4-foot drop off. In other words, my controls, I would be down here, all right? And my controls for the back of the rig are up here. So I had to take the yard and extend it out this far, so I had a platform to stand on. And his stake was right here.
You had to build it up in order to put your machinery there
I
in
had to
order to build.
build it up in order to-
But why do you have to remove his stake to do that? That's
Because I can't.
the reason I say that is because the stake is pretty damn important, right?
Correct, but we did not, here's the thing. I come into the yard, it's like that microphone, okay? The microphone's right there. But on both sides of it is a drop-off. Behind it, the ground goes down like this. So when you bring a well drilling rig in, you can't set up like that. Because there's no place in back of you to stand.
Right, so you have to build up this part.
you're
so
sitting- where you're
so where I'm
sitting.
sitting, you have to build it up
I
so you
have
can
to
put your
build it up.
machinery there. I understand that. Why do you have to remove the microphone to build
Well,
up here?
underneath there is a boulder. Where you're sitting were boulders. So in order for me to work, okay, I have to drill where the microphone is. We made a platform where you are. We leveled it off, 5-foot, 6-foot pack. This side also a little bit. Then
So
we
there's
pull- we
boulders
pull-
underneath the microphone, so you
we-
have to remove the microphone because you're excavating boulders from there.
We made that side there, the platform up first. We made sure that we didn't disturb the stake until we made the platform. We had something to
When
shoot.
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you a second. I have a question. How precise a science is this? You have to drill on that 3-inch spot, or I just
Not
don't.
an exact science.
No, I don't mean that part. I meant if a dowser finds a spot, what's the plus or minus that what's the margin of error around it? Did they tell you anywhere 2 feet or?
Well, let's put it this way. If I have 2 points that make a line, I think if you went anywhere between those 2 points along that line, you would probably be safe. But when you go uphill from the line, because it's more convenient for your truck, because it's an incline, and you haven't informed the client that, oh, this might be difficult, I don't know if I can actually do it where you want it to have it.
Because of the
Because I
machinery I
have the
possess.
photographs of the area of a disturbance, which is not just, I had to make a little room for a platform.
Let me
It's-
see. Let me see your photographs.
And the stake is removed and leaning against his truck before the platform was even made in that
What
photo
is
right there.
that stake?
He's talking about going between the two lines.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been easier. if you-
And this
Yeah.
is the photographs of the platform, as he refers.
Am I seeing a stake in this picture?
There
Can
are-
you do me a favor? Will you come over here?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
That's the stake that he moved. That's the stake where it was originally placed. There's a rock
Is that
wall.
stake leaning against his truck, or is that in the spot where it was?
I don't know if if it's
can't
leaning
tell.
or I can't tell, but what I can tell you is that you can see how close the stake that wasn't moved, which is, he moved it after the fact on the 11th, but he hadn't moved it on the 10th, the original stake, right, which ran along this line. So I think that it was a convenience to
Are you
remove-
saying that the 2 stakes were parallel to the rocks?
Yes. They ran parallel to the rocks. That's the direction of the vein. And that there was by some convenience, the other stake that was 15 feet away also had to be removed on the 11th.
The other stake was never moved,
Never touched.
ever.
We have a stake here.
Yeah.
That stake's now not there. It suddenly was taken out of the
Wait,
ground.
how do I see that the stake is now not there? This is a close-up of that picture, and the
Well,
stake would be
we
over
have-
here.
There's more pictures, I think we have.
Okay, so you do not have pictures
I
that
do not have
shows
any
that the
more
stake was
pictures.
removed? Okay, because these are too close up. It could just be that it's out of the range.
So the
So
date,
according to you, he drilled how much away from the spot you wanted him to drill?
5'6".
5'6".
Yeah.
How big is the hole that you drill?
6 inches, man.
Oh, it's small.
It's a
Yeah.
32-ton truck.
Oh, to me, it was like so much bigger in my head.
No.
Okay,
No,
I'd
no.
love to watch this being done.
No.
So you drill, and you
You're
drill
welcome
how
anytime.
many feet down?
375,
375 feet.
right.
All right, he was charging you by the foot.
Yes.
All right, so according to you, when he moved it, he didn't put it back in the same spot.
Correct.
Go back.
Thank you, sir.
And according to you, you moved it, but you know where the spot was and you put it back in its spot. And I need you to address my concern that you moved the stake at all. According to you, he admitted drilling 18 inches away from the, first he said 6 inches away, maybe it was 6 inches away. And then later afterwards he said, well, maybe it was 18 inches away, but no more. And according to you, it's 5 feet away.
Yes.
Did you ever tell him that it was 18 inches away?
I did, yes.
And what I'm trying
Courts
to...
in recess. I've heard enough. Courts in recess.
All
Please
rise.
Bring everything back to my chambers.
Okay,
Thank
yes,
you.
absolutely.
So if the plaintiff is right that it was only 18 inches off, would 18 inches make a difference? What do you think?
No.
Why not? I mean, would 18 inches make a difference? I mean, it's that much.
No.
How much would make a difference? Because the defendants are saying 5 feet. How much would make a difference?
2 feet.
But not 18 inches.
No, 24 inches.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, now we're going to get back to the bottom of this thing. Are you the Queen of Guatemala or are you not? I know you're saying that, but she's saying...
Yes, she is.
What's going on here? The Queen of Guatemala is just not walking around here.
No, she's just like, she just feels like she doesn't want to tell it, like to reveal it because it's to not do that. You don't do that.
I don't know. I don't know. Going inside the courtroom.
You do understand that the only evidence you have that he's 5 feet off is you saying he's 5 feet off. Why, if there's a dowser and there's water down there still, supposedly, why wouldn't you, in preparation for court, have the dowser come back out and mark the spot and say, and give me an affidavit or come and testify, because you're local, come and testify that that was 5 feet away from my spot.
The
Why don't I
dowser
have
lives in
that?
New Hampshire and lives in Florida.
Your dowser?
Yes.
Why don't you get another dowser? I mean, you were able to get her there that day. So,
Right. She was in New
you know
Hampshire
why?
before she
See,
went down south.
I'm very uncomfortable with having to rely, because like I said, it's either he doesn't know what he's doing and he's just drilling willy-nilly wherever he wants, because 18 inches difference doesn't make a difference.
Sure.
That's according to all the drillers. Because in the break, I spoke to other drillers. That's what I did to try to figure this out. Okay, so if it's 18 inches, it's not a big deal. 5 feet is going to make a difference. But then I realized the only way I know it's 5 feet is because you say so, and you only say so after he doesn't hit water.
I'm not going by the stake that's in the
How
ground.
did your bill go from $3,300 to your lawsuit of $4,362?
I was trying to be reasonable with him because, in other words, there's a dispute. So, rather than go through, he said I was off, okay? So I was trying to be a good guy and knock some off the bill, basically.
So you sent one invoice on the 11th and one invoice on the 12th, and there's a $1,000 difference between them?
Correct.
And no, they're both dated 9/12. They're actually both dated 9/12. One is for $3,300 and one is for $4,300.
Your Honor, I drilled a dry hole.
Would you hear me?
Yep.
Both of your invoices are dated 9/12. One is for $3,300, one is for $1,000 more than that. And the one that's for $3,300 says well depth is 390 feet, a figure nobody's talked about, and it's still only $3,300.
For the
Just stop. I've reached the end of my well. It all comes down to this. He has a burden of proving his case. You have a burden of proving your defense. I'm going to assume that he moved that stake maybe, at plus or minus 18 inches, which I now know makes no difference. The only way you win is if you can persuade me that it's 5 feet off. There's a very easy way to persuade me, and that's bring the person who put the stake in. Have an affidavit from the person who put the stake in. Bring another person who does that, who says, oh, look, I'm getting water right here, 5 feet away from that hole. All the things that you didn't do. So I find that you have not established your defense, which you do have the burden of proving, and I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the lower invoice, which is $3,300. That's my judgment.
Right.
Good
Great.
luck, folks.
Well, unfortunately, the defendant comes up dry again here in the courtroom. Step over and tell me what's your reaction to the outcome here.
Well, at least I was consistent with my story, and I didn't say what I said, and then retracted and repeated and retracted. And
All right, you got water on the place? You got water?
No.
Still don't have water?
No, we wanted to settle this up.
All right, head right down that way. All right, so step on in here and tell me what's your feeling on the outcome here, sir?
Well, I'm sorry we had to
The
go.
driller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we had to go to court on it. And You know, I don't like the fact they don't have any water, any of those wells she's got there, but, you know, I drilled where they told me to drill. They say I didn't.
This
but-
dowser thing, right? Walking around with the sticks and looking for water. There's a little bit of hocus pocus involved with this thing? Is this
Well,
the
a lot of people do it, but, you know, you got just as much chance of hitting water and
with a Ouija board.
with a Ouija board, correct.
Harvey?
So this case required expert testimony because there's no way the defendants can prove what they want to prove without an expert. It's just their opinion, and they're not experts, and that's why they lost. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.